Imagine if time wasn't real or not in the way we think it is. What if everything is happening at once, but our brains, limited by their own processing speed, force us to experience reality as a linear sequence? The past, the present, the future. What if they are all illusions, mere tricks of perception? Today, we dive into one of the deepest and most unsettling questions in science and philosophy. Does time actually exist? Or is it just a construct of the human mind? For centuries, time was thought to be an absolute, unchangeable part of the universe. Sir Isaac Newton imagined time as a river that flowed steadily forward, completely independent of our experience. But Albert Einstein changed everything with his theory of relativity, showing that time is relative. It stretches and compresses depending on speed and gravity. This means time is not an absolute background to reality, it is woven into the very fabric of space itself. But modern physics takes this even further. Some theories suggest that time may not exist at all in the way we perceive it. Could it be that our brains are simply constructing the illusion of time? The brain doesn't process reality instantaneously. It takes about 80 milliseconds for our senses to register information, meaning that what we perceive as now is actually a slight delay. This raises a fascinating question. If our perception of time is always behind reality, does time itself actually exist, or is it simply a mental framework we use to make sense of the world? Is time a fundamental part of the universe, or just a cognitive trick? One of the biggest clues that time might not exist in the way we think comes from Einstein's relativity. The faster you move, the slower time appears to pass relative to someone standing still. This has been experimentally verified. Atomic clocks flown on high-speed jets tick slower than those on the ground. But relativity also suggests something even more mind-blowing. The block universe theory. In the block universe model, past, present, and future all exist at once. The universe is like a giant four-dimensional block, where every moment in time already exists. Our perception of moving forward is just an illusion. Think of a flipbook. Each page exists simultaneously, but we only experience one frame at a time. If this is true, then now is not special. Every moment, including your birth and your death, exists permanently in this cosmic structure. What do you think? Is time truly flowing, or are we just flipping through already existing frames? Let me know in the comments. If time exists as a physical entity, why do different creatures experience it so differently? A housefly perceives motion at a much faster rate than we do. If a fly could watch TV, it would see each frame individually instead of a smooth motion. This suggests that time perception depends on how quickly a brain can process information. The slower the processing, the faster time appears to move. Neuroscientists have found that our sense of time is deeply tied to memory and attention. When we are bored or afraid, time seems to slow down because our brains record more information per second. This is why car crashes or adrenaline-filled moments feel like they last forever. Conversely, when we're engaged in routine activities, time appears to fly because our brain is processing fewer new details. If time perception is so malleable and brain-dependent, does it even have an objective reality? Or is it just a side effect of consciousness? Have you ever experienced time slowing down in a moment of fear? Or speeding up when you're having fun? Share your experience in the comments. At the quantum level, time gets even stranger. In classical physics, we assume that time is continuous and flows in one direction. But in the quantum world, particles behave in ways that seem to disregard time altogether. Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that events do not happen in a strict order. Rather, they exist in a state of superposition, where multiple possibilities coexist until they are observed. The Wheeler-DeWitt equation, a fundamental equation in quantum gravity, does not contain a time variable at all. This suggests that at the most fundamental level of reality, time may not exist. Some physicists propose that what we experience as time is just an emergent phenomenon, like temperature. It arises from complex interactions at a higher level but isn't fundamental to the universe itself. Do you think time is an illusion created by consciousness, or is there something deeper at play? Let's discuss in the comments. One of the strongest arguments for the existence of time is entropy. The second law of thermodynamics. Entropy is the measure of disorder, and it always increases over time. This is why a glass can shatter, but it never spontaneously reassembles. If time weren't real, why would entropy always move in one direction? If entropy dictates the arrow of time, does that mean time itself is just a result of increasing disorder? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Philosophy has long questioned time's nature. From Aristotle to Kant, thinkers have debated whether time is external to us or purely subjective. Buddhist philosophy even suggests that time is an illusion, and that true reality exists beyond past and future. How does this align with modern science? If time is truly an illusion, how should we live our lives knowing that every moment may already exist? And if time is merely a mental construct, does that mean free will is an illusion as well? What's your take? If time is just an illusion, how do we define our existence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If time is an illusion, could we ever escape it? Some theories suggest that in a digital future, we could simulate experiences without being bound by time. Could a post-human civilization exist beyond the constraints of past and future? If we could escape time, what would life look like? Let's talk about it below. So, does time truly exist, or is it just a construct of our perception? Einstein's relativity in the Bloch universe suggest that past, present, and future all coexist, while neuroscience shows that our brains actively shape how we experience time. Quantum physics challenges the very notion of time's flow, yet thermodynamics insists on an irreversible arrow of time. Philosophy questions whether time is an illusion, raising profound implications for free will and existence. If time isn't fundamental, could we ever escape it? Or are we bound by the way we perceive reality? What do you think? Is time real, or just a trick of the mind? Let's discuss in the comments.